Good morning. On hindsight, I should have chosen to sit here, but thank you for having me. Good morning, everybody. I have been working with emerging technology and innovation for a long time, for 2 decades, in fact. And it seems to me that I have never seen a term so widely repeated as artificial intelligence is. The depth of the discussion, the breadth of the discussion signifies that we are facing a paradigm shift, and I think by now this is quite evident. And to imagine that we're talking about it in a shipping conference so intently, it seems that we are now ready to make active steps in its implementation. Now, what is not so widely spoken about is what it takes to have artificial intelligence, where the bases are in order to obtain artificial intelligence. And admittedly, it's a concept or a topic that is less exciting, less sexy, and a little bit boring. And the good news is that I am going to cover this topic, and the bad news is that I'm going to cover this boring topic, but I promise to make it as interesting as possible. But let me start with some facts. We all know that the shipping industry is very rich in data. You have information coming from a variety of sources: telemetry, crew data, client data, financial data, port data, and all this information is coming in different speeds and in different formats. The second fact is that, by the way, how am I changing this? Like this? Okay. The second fact is that this data is stored in different systems. This system might be an ERP, it can be a crew management system if you're a crew management company, it can be spreadsheets, it can be servers, and as the first speaker said, it can also be the servers or the email clients. And the third fact is that the quality of this data varies from different across systems. So we don't have a uniformity in what we are facing. I don't know how many of you are aware of the term GIGO, G-I-G-O, but it's an acronym that stands for garbage in, garbage out. So when we want to have insights and our data is not complete or accurate, then the results are obviously not complete and not accurate. So what is the impact of this situation? The impact is that when you need to report, when you need a report or you need insights, it takes forever to obtain them because people need to visit different systems, they need to assess different types of information, and then come to you if you are a decision maker with the actual report. The second impact is that in most cases, spreadsheets are still needed because everybody needs to download information from different systems into spreadsheets in order to get a complete view of a specific topic. And then, because of this situation, information is not real time, which of course means that sometimes if you have a crisis, like the previous speaker said, on board, you don't have this real-time information. And the final impact is that it might be the case that you have different truths in different departments, because different departments have their own policies, their own way of storing data, of their own way of calling data of what they are. So depending on which department you ask, you may get a different view of, let's say, the profitability of a vessel. So all of these things are good to have in mind when we're talking about artificial intelligence because it's important to address where we need to go. So what does it mean to be AI ready? AI readiness means that 4 pillars align. The first pillar is the technical, the second is the data pillar, the operational pillar, and the organizational pillar. And what does this mean? The technical pillar is your data infrastructure. And this is the most important piece of infrastructure that needs to be on your portfolio when you're talking about artificial intelligence. And this is what I'm going to talk about in the next slides. And then the second pillar is your data. As we said, we need good, complete, and accurate data, but also, as the previous speaker said, data which sits in one place to allow artificial intelligence to draw complete conclusions. And the third pillar is the operational pillar. When you have rich data and rich insights, it doesn't mean anything if people cannot use artificial intelligence to understand what they have in front of them and use those insights to draw conclusions and take action. And then the final pillar is the organizational pillar. Because of everything that is involved with AI, its significance, its cost, its disruption when it comes to infrastructure, we do need an executive buy-in when it comes to its implementation. So it's important to have this organizational support when we're talking about AI. I will skip this because it has been already said, but I'll focus on this pyramid. This pyramid shows the journey to AI readiness. It's like a modern Maslow's pyramid. The foundation sits in awareness of what we have already and where we need to go, and alignment. So we need to get the people in our organization to agree where we need to go in terms of budget, in terms of operations. And then we have the setting of the structure and the data governance. So we need to understand what data we have, who owns the data, who updates the data, who is responsible for the quality of our data. And then we start talking about automation and enablement, building of the infrastructure, and then we go to intelligence, insight, and finally, we can have, once everything is in place, we can start talking about agents, agentic AI, predictive analytics, drawing insights into not just what happened, but what might happen in the future if certain conditions apply. Okay, so what I wanted to stress today is that data infrastructure should be seen not as an overhead, but, and excuse the pun here, I will not repeat it, but it's a vital infrastructure when we're talking about AI. So I promised you boring, and now it's the time to deliver. You don't need to know the details of this diagram. I just wanted to show you what happens in the back of any data warehouse system, which is the data infrastructure, essentially. So to the left, you see the different systems that you're using. So it's important to mention that AI is not replacing the systems that are already being used in the company. So your ERP is your ERP, your CRM is your CRM, your crew management system is your crew management system, and so on and so forth. These systems need to send information somewhere centrally, and that's the immediate next step. So everything is thrown into this place, which is basically called a lake house. And then the information, the data is starting to get cleaned up, and essentially in the next step, it starts getting connected with each other in order to allow us to draw the insights and the conclusions that you see to the right of the picture. And this is a little bit cooler than the previous one. It's what you see, essentially, or something that might resemble what you see. In this example, you see financial data coming from different vessels, comparing profitability month by month, as near real time as possible as the data allows us. And then you can drill down into the name of the vessel and different types of aspects of the financial data that you would like to see. The same with here, and then and here. And then we can also do the same with crew data. If you are a crew management company and you are employing people from different parts of the world and you are positioning them in different vessels, then you might want to understand where these people are coming from, what their expertise is, when they were positioned on the ship, when they are due to sign off, and then assess whether you have additional clients that would need their expertise. So you can combine data from different systems here that you wouldn't find in one single system traditionally. Same with this vessel. You see here, if you look very closely, you will see that to the right, you will find the expertise per engine type and per rank of each crew member. Same with here, the concentration of nationalities on board. And then what comes after that, and once you have that structure in place, you can implement AI. And what I'm focusing here is conversational AI, which means that you can discuss with your data. You can ask questions like you would ask a colleague, but instead of reaching out, you do this in a ChatGPT style conversation, just to give you an idea. And then finally, and I'm wrapping up, all this is great, but there are some challenges that we're facing and some pushback, as I said at the beginning, because AI requires an upfront investment in the structure of an organization and the data. It means that there is cost involved. And it's something that you probably imagined, but it's very fair to say it as well. At the same time, a data infrastructure, a data warehouse, basically, or a lakehouse, or whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing. It's the place where you take the data from different systems and you put them on the cloud, essentially. Allows you to avoid vendor lock-in and then change your systems as needed in the future without facing extreme disruption. The cost and the return on investment is something I think we might be able to discuss in the panel in a minute, but return on investment is something that should be seen long-term when it comes to AI. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to measure the return of your investment when it comes to artificial intelligence. My rule of thumb is that if you can measure it, it's probably not AI. It's nice automation. But it's not transformational. If it's AI and it's transformational, I cannot measure it, at least in the short term. Having this warehouse means that, especially if we are talking about data coming from different parts of the world, which is sensitive, it's obviously built with data privacy and regulation in mind. And then once you have all of these things in place, you need to make sure that one critical aspect is addressed, and that's the final thing. Artificial intelligence always needs humans in the loop. You cannot just implement it and let it run. It's not a software. It's not something that remains stable over time. What might happen is that because it learns from itself, it means that if it starts learning something that is not accurate, then it repeats that information and it multiplies it. So we need to be aware of that and make sure that we always have humans in the loop in order to double-check information, especially the ones that are very sensitive. Thank you. I'm ahead of time, so.